Hello and welcome to the Motorcycle Report. My name is Ryan, and if you're like me, you want to know all there is to know about the past, present, and future of the motorcycle world. For today's report, I'd like to talk about the classic movie Easy Rider and Dan Haggerty. So yeah, I'm a fan of the movie Easy Rider. With a budget of about $400,000 and box office receipts of about $60 million in the 1970s, it's easy to see that I'm not the only one, and that doesn't include the home video sales and rentals. As an avid fan as well as motorcycle enthusiast, I plan to have other posts in the future about this and many other motorcycle movies. I'll be doing a full review of this movie in another video. This time, let's talk about how Grizzly Adams star Dan Haggerty and the Easy Rider motorcycles are related. The Captain America bike from Easy Rider is one of the most, if not the most, iconic purely American motorcycle ever created. It's simply the definition of the word chopper. With its long drawn-out front forks, its distinct ape-hanger bars, its compact teardrop-shaped gas tank with the stars and stripes painted on it as if the tank were actually wrapped up by the flag itself, upswept fishtail mufflers, and the engine and everything besides the seat and tires covered in stark shining chrome. A beauty to see. A note on the Captain America bike. It was originally built in 1959, and the first one was bought at a police auction by Peter Fonda. It has a V-twin 45-degree 4-stroke overhead valve engine that's 1,207 cc's or 74 cubic inches. It has an electric start. It's 60 horsepower and 70 pounds per foot torque. It's a 4-speed and has a chain drive. It has a rigid rear suspension, and the brakes are drum brakes on both the front and back. It weighs about 600 pounds, and its reported top speed is 90 miles per hour. The Life and Times of Grizzly Adams was a film and later a television show in the 1970s that starred a bear-resembling big man named Dan Haggerty. Based on the true story of a real wilderness man of the same name, Grizzly Adams had a pet grizzly bear in real life named Ben. Bozo was the name of the acting bear that they cast as Ben in the show. He lived from 1960 to 1999 and also played the mother bear in the movie The Bear. Fortunately, he didn't have to dress differently for that role. Dan Haggerty and Bozo, or Ben, made for a fascinating duo on screen during the show's run. As a kid, I used to watch the reruns, and while I had heard of and seen bears in circuses riding bikes and such with a muzzle on, I'd never seen a full-on interaction between an actor or anyone and a bear. But there it was, and it was a lot of fun to see. And they had lots of adventures together. A few years before the Grizzly Adams series, Dan Haggerty, along with a man named Tex Hall, became a part of the Easy Rider crew as motorcycle wranglers. It is known now that motorcycle builders Ben Hardy and Cliff Vowes converted the Harley-Davidson Hydroglide hardtail panhead bikes into the Captain America and Billy bike configurations. The customizations were based originally on Peter Fonda's ideas. Even though Mr. Hardy and Mr. Vowes' names are not seen in the movie's credits, history has them playing a large part of the motorcycle transformations. It is said that Dan helped accessorize the bikes. What this means exactly is unclear. In fact, there's a lot of unclear stuff happening when it comes to the Captain America bike in particular. It's been up for auction or sale a few times in the years following the movie's release. There were 2 Captain America and 2 Billy bikes built for the movie in case there were any mechanical problems, so that a backup bike could be used during shooting. But out of the 4 bikes, only one was not stolen soon after the film wrapped production. That was one of the Captain America bikes ridden during the end stunt scene by Tex Hall. Now, before I continue, I'd like to acknowledge that I do recognize Dan Haggerty, the man, as a great contributor to the Harley-Davidson motorcycle community. He's been on many rides and spoken at many gatherings to grateful crowds of riders. Knowing this makes this report more difficult to continue with. I'm not perfect and no one is, even the Grizzly Adams star. And no matter what comes next, I'll always be a fan of his. My view has not been tarnished. And I hope yours won't be either. He and Bozo, or Ben, working together, contributed to my childhood development. What I mean by that is that they made up a clear representation in my mind that a tough man and a tough animal could form a bond in this world. It showed me that man and animal aren't always meant to fear each other. A fond part of my childhood television viewing, no doubt. I can only hope that honest mistakes were made when it came time for him to sell the rebuilt Captain America motorcycle, as he did in 1996 for $63,000. And again in 2014 for $1,350,000. Not only did he sell one motorcycle twice, but he also supposedly gave the original bike frame to the National Motorcycle Museum in 1999. That the bikes that were sold looked like the real deal, there is no doubt. Perhaps they were fine replicas interwoven with at least some authentic parts. At any rate, $1,350,000 is the most expensive motorcycle sale in history. Make that $1,600,000 after auction fees, etc. But of course, one motorcycle cannot be in three places at once. Or can it? So this mystery is likely to continue on into legend. I would have to agree that it would be beyond awesome, or beyond as you can get, to own the Captain America motorcycle. It would be really close to almost as awesome to have Dan Haggerty make an exact replica that had one or two original parts from the bike for me to own. But I didn't spend the money. Dan Haggerty isn't with us anymore, and I must say that in some ways I still miss him, and I really wish he were still here. He's done a lot for a lot of people. But a man, no matter how tough he is still just a man. And we are all flawed. I don't judge him, and I never will. When I traveled up the avenue of research for this story, I didn't know how it would turn out, and maybe there's more to the story than I know. When I saw that one of my favorite actors had been a part of the Easy Rider film crew, I was looking to report on a much different kind of story. But life isn't always a bed of roses. It isn't always milk and honey, and it isn't always lived in the lap of luxury. And, most importantly, it isn't always an idiom. Well, that ends this report. If you enjoyed this video and would like to hear more, go ahead and click the subscribe button. I'll talk to you soon.